Right, so here's the issue, guys. Let me get back to the game here. The issue is right here, up here, as you can see, even when I'm not even playing a Mythic Plus key, pulling like 20 or 30 enemies, that's when the computer might start dying, right? But even just standing in a city, I get 40 FPS, and my target FPS in the game is 110. I did set it to more than 100, but we are nowhere near that. So if we go on graphics, and even though I got, as you can see, my graphics quality is quite low. There we go. Target FPS, frames per second, 110, and I get like 40, 50. So we have a problem here that we're gonna try to resolve today. Right, so today, like I was saying, we're gonna try to do two things, guys. Number one, I just found out last week when I was trying to figure out why my computer was slow. I didn't even know it was the CPU. The CPU was the problem. So once I found out the CPU was the problem, and I can show you guys why, I came to a conclusion looking at some guides on the internet. As you can see here, I'm using a program called HWW Monitor. That's free, and there's no risk as far as I'm aware. It's a well-known software developer. There's no risk at all. They also make CPU Z to check your specs, so it's the same company, and it basically reads the temperatures. And as you can see here, Intel Core, and that's my CPU, I got 4 processors, and they were all, when I was playing World of Warcraft, even with low settings, it was all at like 100 degrees. Now, most CPUs, modern CPUs, if I buy a new CPU today, they are designed to stop working or lower the power at like 80 degrees. You get to 80 degrees and straight away they start to shut down. Because my processor is a bit older than that, back then people were not as worried about burning the processors because games were not as powerful anyway. My one can go up to 100 degrees, which is great, but it can burn anyway. I can just lose it. I can be playing for like 5 hours straight and then I get a blue screen of death and my computer will just go. So, two things that we can do to tackle this problem. Number one, and by the way guys, I did post quite a bit of information on our Discord. Let me just quickly link. For those of you who don't have our Discord, that's that one. And then under Tech Advice, just there under Text Channels, Tech Advice, new channel I created last week, I did put quite a bit of information about what we are going to do today. And one of the things you'll quickly learn that I didn't know is that there's something called thermal paste that basically allows your CPU, which is the main processor in your computer, to get cooled down, right? It's like lub to allow the temperature to go through the fan a lot faster and smoother. If you have no lub per se or thermal paste, the heat becomes trapped in your processor and the temperatures go up a lot more. So every few years, and I didn't know this, every like 3, 4, 5 years, you should change the paste in your CPU. And I didn't know that. My CPU is like, it's like 14 years old and I've never done that. So I'm convinced that if I just do that, things are gonna get a lot better. But what I'll do as well, I did buy off Amazon a new fan as well. I can show you guys in a moment. I got a much bigger fan. It cost me about 20 to 30 pounds. It's the same in euros, probably about the same in dollars, maybe a little bit more in dollars. And I believe it will improve my computer performance a lot. And basically, if I manage to cool down my CPU, then everything else starts working better. Because what was happening is I started checking my graphics card as well. Because you could say, well, the main thing you can improve if you want more FPS, or the same thing as saying, if you want your game to be smoother, just get a better graphics card. That's like the main thing to make your games run better and smoother and have better graphics as well, so the game looks better. The problem with that is, in my machine right now, if I bought the best graphic card in the world, it would be capped by my processor, because my processor would say, I'm sorry, there's too much voltage. You are pulling too much power into the system, and I'm getting too hot, so I'm gonna shut down everything. So that would not be the solution. So as you can see, my graphics card is already overclocked. Now it is reaching its maximum potential. The clock speed is between 1500 up to my overclock target of 1625. So my graphics card is now working properly. But what did I have to do? I basically had to lower, let me just show you. I had to lower the voltage. So if you see my core voltage here, it's under 1.2. The first picture I show you guys, which I think was the default pretty much, my CPU, when it was bought, it was already configured to hit like 1.1, 1.2 voltage. So I had to lower that to under 1. That's a huge difference. Well, where CPUs are concerned, increasing the voltage value even by 0.1 is a huge difference. You can go from 2000 megahertz, and if you add 0.1 voltage, you can go up to 2.2 thousand megahertz. So it's a lot more power. So, but what I had to do now, just to get the maximum potential from my graphics card, because it was stuck. Before I did that, it was stuck on like 500 megahertz. You would go up to 1000 for like 2 seconds. Then my CPU would say, no, you are bringing too much heat. I'm overheating, so I'm going to cut your power. Because it's now it's on 80 degrees. That is okay, but ideally you want to be gaming at around 50-60 degrees, ideally. 80 degrees is not too bad, but that's like the limit. You don't want to be too close to 80 degrees. So the plan today is, let's cool down the CPU a little bit more. Let's bring those temperatures down, hopefully to 60-50 degrees. If we manage to do that without breaking my computer, then I can increase the voltage. I'm gonna have to go on the BIOS of the computer, so I press on my motherboard, I need to press the key delete. As soon as the computer is starting, I just keep pressing delete to open the BIOS settings, and I'm gonna increase the voltage, hopefully to 1.1 at least, maybe 1.2. If we manage to have a stable temperature, let's say maximum of 80 degrees when I change it to 1.2 volts, then we can get more power, more core speed on my CPU. Maybe we can go up to 3.5, let's see. At the moment it's on 2800 megahertz, maybe 3500 megahertz. I know some people on the internet, on Google, they said this CPU can go all the way up to 4000 megahertz. We'll try not to go to the limit, but get a little bit more power. How's it going? That means, man, that i7-920 is from like 2008, right? That is absolutely right. It's the one thing I haven't changed yet that I probably should have changed years and years ago. Big bottleneck on the GPU there. Exactly right, that means right. That's what I'm trying to explain here very quickly. If your CPU is not powerful enough, and again guys, you don't have to have the most powerful CPU in the world. You don't. As long as you are reaching the full potential of the CPU that you have now, your game can run very smoothly. You don't need the best CPU in the world to play World of Warcraft without any lag or breaks or loss of frames. Like your computer freezing for like 2 seconds when you pull 20 enemies at the same time and everyone starts casting spells. The mage is casting blizzards. Everyone is pumping cooldowns, and then your computer like starts breaking off and you lose like every 2 seconds you lose like some frames, and you get a still frame for 2 seconds and then it moves again. That's what we're trying to avoid here. So, and even if you buy the most expensive CPU in the world, if that CPU is not configured correctly, if there's not enough cooling, that's what we're talking about here today, guys. We are talking about cooling your CPU to achieve the maximum potential. If there's not enough cooling on the best CPU in the world, you are still gonna have a really poor performance on your computer. Like I said, maximum 80 degrees, ideally about 50 to 60 degrees while gaming. Let's see if we can do that. So 2 things we can do, guys, today. Number 1, your thermal paste needs to be changed every 5 years or so. I never done it. I'm gonna try to do it today. I'm gonna show you guys as well. I have a little setup on the back here, just to show you guys of me attempting to do it. Maybe you can learn something together. Maybe I'll just break the computer. That's fine. I'll just have to buy a new one. But hopefully, we can either, one of two things, we can either just change the paste, and I think will help a lot, because the temperature is getting blocked inside the CPU and not being transferred to the fan because the paste is very old. And if I bought the right fan, hopefully I did buy the right fan, I'll be able to use the new fan I bought off Amazon, which cost me about 30 quid. You got all the information on the Discord as well. All the stuff I bought today, and I'm going to show you. The fan, the link is there. The thermal paste right there. Really good rating on this thermal paste. Apparently, it's the most common product that IT people use. We're going to have some lint-free wipes as well, because you're going to have to remove the old paste. But if you do it with like kitchen roll, there's loads of little particles and filaments that will go everywhere on your computer. So you got some lint-free wipes, and you got some alcohol as well, just to get the most stubborn paste out of the CPU. What you might need as well, maybe, depending on how stuck the old fan is to your CPU, we might need a hair dryer or some kind of heat to make the paste melt a bit, go soft, so we can pull the fan from the circuit. I would highly recommend to you guys today to just download the HW monitor. Install it. It literally takes 1 minute. It's a very small application. And check the temperature on your Intel Core or any other processor you might have. It might be an AMD Ryzen, might be any other type of processor. Check the temperature, because if you are over 80 degrees or 90 degrees, 100 degrees, one, you might just break in like a week, 2 weeks from today. You might just blow up. Or two, your graphics card is not able to reach the maximum clock speeds because your CPU is too hot. So you might be able to easily increase your computer performance if you do what I'm doing today. So if you just want to change the thermal paste, right? Got some thermal paste here. And like I said, all the links are on Discord. And it looks like that. And to remove the old paste, you got some wipes. And you got some alcohol stuff, at least 70%. It's recommended. This one is 99%, so that should be really good. And I've also bought a fan here. This one is called up here S5 S6 cooler. That's the one I bought. And it's a little bit bigger than the one I've got now, so hopefully it will do a better job, ideally. I need to remove this fan here, my old fan, and hopefully get a new one in. Seems to come out nicely. Not too much drama. I need to remember that it is connected here for the power. How do I take you out? Here we go. I hope the power of the new fan is similar, so it will all just work nicely. Right, why are you not coming out now? Oh. It's coming out. There we go. So this is the old fan right here. So as you can see, it's a massive upgrade in terms of cooling. You see the new one, and you see the old one, right? You can see how much bigger the new fan here is. And also, it has this suction, like the suction. These pipes are designed to suck. These pipes right here, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pipes that are designed to suck the heat away, which my old fan doesn't have any of that. It's a very basic Intel fan. So hopefully I'll get a lot more cooling with this monster. So here we go, guys. That's my CPU. You can see the paste. You can see bits of paste there, right there. This is all old paste, right? Right here, this is old paste. You can come out with my finger even. My fingernail can take it out. Look, my finger is completely dirty with old paste. So a bit of alcohol solution is even better. I probably got too much alcohol in here. It's very wet. It's gonna make this nice and clean. It's all coming out. You guys can see one side is pretty clean, the other side not so much. So basically what's happening here, because the paste was put on top of the CPU and between the fan 14 years ago, it's a really long time. You should do this every 3, 4, 5 years maybe, you should do this. Even on your new computer. Because there's no paste, it's like a lump. It makes the heat go out a lot easier if there's good thermal paste. But because my one is completely dry and not doing anything right now, all the heating is staying stuck in the processor. That was all in the CPU. Look at that. It's completely dark. You don't want a lot of paste. You want, like they say, about a pea size in the center, a little pea size of paste in the center. Then you put the fan on top and it will just expand everywhere. If you put too much paste everywhere, it will overflow and go into the chip. And then you might break a computer. Your chip is not going to work if there's too much thermal paste. So normally you can just do a size of a pea, a green pea, in the middle and put the fan on top. Or another thing you can do is you can make a cross and 4 dots. So an X and a cross, X with paste, a whole line, and then 4 little dots as the cross. Some people say that's the most efficient.
To replace the motherboard, to put brackets on and change your cooling on the CPU, you have to, with those brackets, you're gonna have to, take everything out, including all your components on the board itself. It's something you do at the beginning of the build, so if you have to do it once it's built, it's a full strip out. Yeah, see that cable coming from the fan on the side of that panel? That should terminate onto a header on the board somewhere. See that cable that's hanging out from the side panel? You put the side panel up on the side there. You see the cable coming from it.
Yeah. This one right here.
That yeah. Follow that down. It should go to a header on the board somewhere.
Right. And now where is the power coming? Well, there's power here for the graphics card. Okay, that is out. Woo! Yeah, that scared me a bit.
Perfect.
I'm scared. I'm scared here.
It's all fine. You can't go wrong with it. And once you've got your picture, you just start from the top and work your way down, matching what you've got on your image, on your picture. So you can't go wrong.
Oh, the speaker one.
Just take your time.
The speaker one was not connecting.
Take your time. It should be about 8, maybe 10 in total.
You know what, mate? I look at some guides and stuff online to do this, and they made it look so simple and so easy. I thought I was on for an easy ride here.
You've not got a lot to do, to be honest. It's not too bad. Once we've got these screws out, we'll be able to get the board out, get the bracket on, and then remount the motherboard. You probably want to get your your fan on your assembly before you put the motherboard.
I don't even know what way I want to try to take it out, just because there's so many cables there. It's annoying. Okay. So I got this bit to go in the back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're threaded screws, will go through the holes, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So they'll be, yeah, should be available there on the back to put through. Just match them up.
A little worry now. Let's see if it will show up. It's this in.
So you're gonna have, yeah, you know what you're doing there. Just position it in. Lift the cables up over the board. It's gonna be a bit tricky, but
I'm trying so hard not to lose any behind the motherboard. I'm actually paranoid. Already lost one today.
okay, a bit more,
Bit more?
bit more. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. That's enough. That's enough. Perfect.
Oh, there we go. It's in. Right.
Sweet. We're good.
Oh.
We're good.
I cannot see. Ooh, can I reach it though? It's gonna be a bit awkward now. Oh dear, oh dear. It's going in.
Should be able to finger screw them in, yeah.
We'll have to play with it a bit. People.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost a screw. Come here, you. There we go. Okay, it's kind of in.
You secure that in with this Phillips, and just when it actually, you can feel the screw torque kick in, as in when it tightens, that's when you stop.
Yes, mate.
You've done well on them brackets. I tell you, that would have took me a while to figure that out.
Oh, it's not easy though.
Tricky.
It's done. I'm so pleased. I got another one actually. I don't.
Can't go wrong. But yeah, very good. Success.
Look at the temperatures now. I promise you, I never had 30 degrees ever on this computer. Oh, I'm so pleased, mate. So pleased.
If you can do a dungeon and then quickly have a look,
To see if it goes
on
up.
the load, it should be around. It shouldn't get any higher than 40, 48, 50
Oh,
maybe.
I'm so pleased, mate. You have no idea. Oh, I'm so pleased. Wow. That was good. Right, I'm gonna try to overclock my computer, I think. Really quickly. Taking 5-ish minutes break. I'm gonna try to get above 3000 megahertz on the CPU, just because, as it is now with the current settings and playing a key, the highest it went to was 54. I think we can increase the power up until 70, we should be okay. But I don't even think, if I increase it to 3300, I don't think the values will change a lot, because the voltage is already there. We already have 1.2 voltage, which is what I need. So I think that the temperature will stay the same, but the computer will just be faster. That I'll leave there as default. Now this is the most important value here. This is the BCLK frequency. That's the most important to increase or decrease the power on your computer. Right now it's set at 133, and that gives me 2800 megahertz. So if I change that slightly, if I change it to like 140, I would probably get 2900. I'll try to go up to 150 to try to get over 3000. I think I'll get 3100. Let's see what happens there. Then I need to change PCI frequency. You can leave it as default. The RAM frequency. I know my RAM. I got some of my memory I can use at 1600 megahertz, but most of it is 1500. So I'll leave it at 1500. And then the UCLK frequency is the lowest one you can find, just to increase stability. Now QPI, I think we can choose the lowest one as well. The problem with leaving these values at automatic, it might go up in power when you don't actually need that much power, which will then lead to too much temperature, too much heat. So to try to keep the heat down, I'm gonna say just use the minimum options on everything apart from the megahertz I want on my CPU to avoid getting it too hot. CPU voltage, I'm gonna risk it for a biscuit. I'm gonna go 1.2 volts. Normally my computer would go up to 100 degrees if I use 1.2. With my old CPU fan, I would get 100 degrees. Because today we upgraded that to a much bigger fan, and we refreshed the thermal paste as well. I think I can go up to 1.2 without too much problems. Now for this, the next values, I'll just choose the standard. It says there, if you guys can see on the right hand side, you have some information about all the values. I can see that the standard is 1.8, so I'm just gonna leave it all at the standard value. 1.8 for that one, 1.2 for this one. Overclocking, guys, it can be a little bit scary at first, but once you get into it, it's all about keeping the lowest settings possible with maximum power before you get a blue screen. If you get a blue screen, then you know you need more power. But to achieve the maximum power, you need to have good cooling. If you don't have enough cooling, then there's nothing you can do. 1.5 here. The auto here, the standard is 1.1. I'll leave it at 1.1. This one is 1.5. You can stay there. DRAM bus voltage, that's very important. I can try to increase it, but I'll leave it as standard 1.5. And then if I see that my computer is not using all of the RAM I have available, I'll increase it a little bit. I'll probably increase it to a maximum of 1.6 maybe, if my computer is not overheating already. So right now I'm gonna leave it at 1.5 standard, and then I will increase it later, maybe, depending on the performance of my computer. And then the rest I don't have to change. Everything else can stay automatic. I will hit F10 just to save and exit. Now let's see if we don't get any blue screens, guys. This is the big test now. If we get the blue screen, we know we are trying to achieve too much. Mesa, DDR3? How old is your PC, mate? I did say, Mesa, you are looking at the museum, the IT museum. My computer was bought in 2009, but I think with the new cooling, I can get enough power to match a computer bought in like 2015, 2016, I think. As long as it is stable. We'll find out now. Laura, it's a vanilla spec. I should be playing WoW vanilla. You are right. I shouldn't be playing retail with this computer. Oh, you make me laugh. Right, let's see now. Let's get some info. Let's get the CPU Z to give us our power meter and our HW monitor to tell us how hot the computer is. So far we had no blue screens, guys. So far we are looking good. Right, look at this, guys. You probably cannot see it. Let me change to the other scene. Now you can see it. So with the changes we made, we are on core speed of 3150. That is actually quite good. I don't know if I will try to overclock it any more than that, just because it's so old, but I think at least 3300 should be fine, I think. But I'll probably leave it where it is now and see if I don't get any problems. I'll play some keys, maybe play like 10 keys in WoW and see if I don't get any blue screens. If I don't get any blue screens, and because the temperature is still, it's not as low as before. Before the overclocking, it was at 30 degrees without opening WoW. I think if I open WoW now, it might go up to 80 maybe. But on our last session, it was a maximum of 60, I think, we had. So I'll try to go ahead and start WoW and see what it does to the temperature. The temperature is still good, guys. The temperature is staying under 50 degrees. So basically this tells me I can go a little bit more crazy. I can overclock the CPU maybe to 3500, I would imagine. Which is already really good. It's pretty much what you would buy on a medium range gaming computer. You'd get about 3500, maybe 4000 megahertz on a processor. The main thing is just to play for like a week to make sure you don't get any blue screens. Blue screen means one of two things. It could mean that it's getting too hot. That's why I use this program to make sure it's not going above like 80, 90 degrees is too much. Ideally, you want to stay around 70 degrees maximum. So it could be that, and that's why you got the blue screen. Or it could be because you are asking for too much with little voltage. Because I know if I put more than 1.2 voltage, I can get more power, but then there's too much heat. Because the computer is sucking more and more energy, more and more electricity. There's more heat, but there's more power. So it's overclocking, guys. It's all a balance of temperature versus power and voltage. But because the temperature is good, I think I can go up.